Sir, thank you very much. So we'd like to understand, a brief understanding about your organization and yourself, so we have a better understanding.
Yeah. This post of Commissioner Education has been created recently in Maharashtra. This post looks after the entire school education from 1st to 12th. Otherwise, normal education is divided into primary education, secondary, higher secondary, etc. Now, this brings all the school education into one umbrella. Okay. Yes. I look after the entire school education. So, basically, the little labor that is about primary education, secondary education, higher secondary, teacher training, conducting of exams, board exams, then printing of textbooks, etc.
Yeah, in fact, this is the first time we have heard about this kind of a designation coming in, and clubbing everything from the school education point of view.
Yeah.
So can you just please let me know, what are the different areas, especially into the ICT, that you are taking in, to improve the standards of the education within your perspective? Can you give us, some more idea on that?
Basically, within education, you can broadly classify into two. One is education per se, content, and education administration. These are the basic. Looking about education and administration, we need really big data. For example, the current database prepared by Government of India called UDIS handles teacher information as well as school information. But really speaking, the focus of education system is students. Their full data is not there. So we are preparing a big database of all students, which will be more than 2.2 crores, to enable a smooth functioning across all the sectors. Let me give the example. Suppose if we have all the student data, the individual students need not apply to appear for an exam. Anyone studying 10th standard and 12th standard should be presumed to appear for the exam. Suppose a new scheme for scholarship comes, we know that these are the people who are eligible and we can take them as applicants. Likewise, we can go to the third level, is about how the student is progressing in various subjects across from 1st standard to 10th standard. Is there any deviation? Is it because of the change of school? Is it because of non-availability of teacher? This can be analyzed. This is about the educational administration. The second important part of IT in education is about the content education. The world is changing now. The general feeling nowadays is that we should enable students to learn apart from teaching them to learn. Okay. We should provide all the facilities available to the students and provide a question and challenge them to learn. We are seeing with our own eyes that our children know better than the parents as well as teachers. We have not taught them. They are telling us how to operate new cameras. Teacher as well as parents are looking overall by their learnings. So it is being proved that we provide a challenge, provide facilities to learn, and they will learn better than us. So our mechanism should enable a learning environment by providing resources apart from providing facilities of teaching. This is a big challenge. We are working on that.
Okay. So it's actually a different kind of the area that actually you are working on, and it's really in fact it's encouraging for anybody to understand and learn about it. Now, so there's a lots of buzzword around digital India.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether you talk to government, whether you talk to corporates, whether you talk to a common person in totality. What is all this digital India, and what is your views with respect to digital India?
If you look into the overall administration and the society as a whole, it can rely on two factors. One, the human memory or institutional memory. The existing India, the British India followed by independent India, followed certain system of human memory and institutional memory. If you go to the old villages, or even 30-40 years earlier, the village accountant, you call it Patwari or Talati, will be the memory for the village. He will know who is owning which property, he will know who is having good record, bad record, everything. So, based on human memory, and they became institutional memory systems were functional. Slowly, because of various improvements like equality in appointment to government post, as well as the huge population which is emerging, population explosion, as well as urbanization. The pre-existing systems are failing. They are not able to cope up with creating a memory for a system to function, for a government to function. So what we need is a replacement of these systems or assisting human beings to take relation to have a digital memory for the country. So whether it is education, whether it is administration, whether it is providing facilities, everything, or it's transport, any facility, instead of relying on individual memories or traditional memories, we have to go for digital memory as well as digital analytics as well as digital solutions. So it is right the government is embarking on what is called digital India, where this enormous amount of data will be handled by the digital setup, the ICT setup.
Now, sir, you touched upon a very important aspect with respect to digital analytics. Now, if I talk about, now every new change, whether you talk of, putting it, in the form of data, number one, analyzing the data, number two, then executing different projects, involves a transformation.
Yeah.
Now, when I say a transformation, the transformation means, a transformation within your system, and transformation, how the things actually are getting executed. Say one thing is, you have a set of objectives. Okay, say 1, 2, 3 objectives that needs to be, that needs to be achieved for a particular project. Second thing is that, that whether those objectives are being met or not. Now, I would like to understand, is your department looking at the second part of it, which is to understand, whether those objectives are being met or not? How are you going, how are you taking that particular aspect in mind?
As far as the current department is concerned, I am just new into the department, but I will explain with the previous department how we have gone ahead. As you rightly told that it is important to ensure that the objectives are implemented appropriately,
Exactly.
for which we have to have what is called government process engineering. We have to make a process flow, find out what are the paths or points which are value adding or non-value adding. We have to remove non-value adding, and whether we can find out whether we can shorten it to make it functional in a faster way to deliver the fast. So in education system, if we look at it, for example, as I told you, instead of having a big objective of having an exam properly, let us take that exam. Today the process flow, it starts with the student applying, and the school collecting that application, paying the school exam fee to the board, and the board then conducts exams by manual process. Again the marks are collected, entered into the system, again printed on a sheet of paper, handed over to the person, followed with verification requests from various institutions because there are some fake mark sheets. Now this is the entire system of only examination. Now we can have a process flow. What is our aim? What is our objective? To have a proper ICT system which make things functional and giving genuine marks to genuine people.
Agree.
Right. If this is the objective, how we should do? We need not take application from each and every people. If we have a proper student database, anyone sitting in 10th and 12th should be presumed to be appearing for exam unless until he is asking for an exemption. So no need for any paper. You collect fee online, either by the student as well as the school. Then part of the exams can go online. For example, Maharashtra State Board conducts certain exams online. The ICT exam, ICT subject is taken online. A big question bank, different question papers are asked to different people, and it is taken in 6 shifts on 3 days. But it is an online exam. Whatever they are doing is captured centrally and marks are allocated within as soon as the exam is over. The ICT exam marks are no instant, it's over. Now the next question is that you are again entering data from, for say 15 lakh people, multiplied by so many subjects. Now, whether we can automate that as soon as the marking is done, whether we can take it, The last part is that, do we need paper mark sheets? Why do we need paper mark sheet? Can't we link Aadhaar or any other unique identity number if they are not having Aadhaar to say that you input your mark and see your digitally signed mark sheet online? Why do we carry the mark sheets? Because we have to prove it to the employers or the higher academic institution. Can we tell formally, legally, that employers as well as higher academic institutions will look into the portal of exam board, they will not ask for a mark sheet from the concerned person. Full stop. We will be stopping printing off lakhs and lakhs of mark sheets, losing mark sheets, filing a police case to get a duplicate mark sheet, and having fake mark sheets around. These are the things we can plan and implement. As I told you, I am new, so I cannot speak about achieved things here. But if you see Maharashtra education system, it's worth making a case study here. Case study has been done by National Institute of Smart Government also. We have changed the system in Maharashtra, the only state in the country where you can sit at home and register your Leave-On licenses. So the persons will come, take your biometrics, tenant as well as the lessor, and your registration is over. Sub-registrar will sign digitally sitting at his office. The same thing we can do it here.
Great, sir. In fact, now I'll touch a very tricky point, sir.
Yeah.
The point is, the point on school dropouts.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's a very, very important challenge that the government is looking forward to. Okay. How you had been actually looking at this challenge area of school dropouts, and what are the different steps you have taken? Okay, so as to ensure that you have a lesser number of school dropouts.
True. To be frank, different states are at different levels of doing this. For example, the enrollment rate in Maharashtra is 100%, and the dropout rate for primary school, dropping out before 5th standard, is almost nil. Because of the efforts of government for the past 10 years, not just government of Maharashtra, it's government of India efforts by Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, that now we have reached the threshold of not having dropouts at primary level. Now we do have a dropout at a particular level between 9th and 10th. There are some reasons we have to handle that. So we have to have different strategies for different states. I will also like to tell Maharashtra is one of the states which has crossed the demographic layers of third layer. Normally you have 3 layers of demographic transition. The undeveloped country normally has higher birth rate and higher death rate. That means that lower population will be there will be higher birth rate. Death rate is higher due to poor health facilities as well as wars, internal disturbances. As the country is developing, like our country, even now, but most of the past 30 years, you have a higher birth rate but lower death rate because of improving health facilities. It is a fact. So we had an exploding population. It is a next layer of transition. The third layer is lower birth rate and lower death rate. That means lower death rate of developing area is balanced by lower birth rate also. Why I am saying this is very important. Maharashtra is maybe only one state or one of the few states in the country which reached the third layer of democratic transition. If you see in Maharashtra, 2001, 14% of total population was 0 to 6 age. Now 2011, they are only 11%.
Okay.
In absolute terms, Maharashtra produced 8 lakh children less. So approximately every year, the number of children in the 0 to 6 age is lessening by 1 lakh. So this is part of the developing stage. Any developed country has this thing: less quantity, more quality. So why I am telling all this related dropout rate, we have almost reached the issue of quantity of dropouts, quantity related other issues. Now it is time for states like Maharashtra getting quality. We have almost achieved those parameters. We should really look into the quality of education we are providing. countries.
Right, sir. Now, I hope so you are enjoying this event at India.
Yeah.
How had been your experience in the India event as per se?
Yeah, this is has multi-faceted advantages. For example, for people like us in government, we are exposed to new technologies, new ideas, which are either emerging or being implemented in other places. It's a learning from our colleagues from other states. It's a learning from the industries whose representatives are also present. From the other side, our country is progressing on innovations ideas. It is important that the industry and innovators also get a platform to put forth their ideas and their offerings. Normally, there is a theory of decision making called dustbin decision making.
Right.
It looks very odd, but it is a real thing. You get lot of ideas, but you think that no, not needed now, not needed now. It's a well accepted policy of theory of decision making in public administration, new public administration. You see that it's not needed now. But suddenly some problem crops up. You suddenly remember, yeah, this answer was appropriate for this problem which is in front of me. You just dip your hands in the dustbin, pick out whichever is known to you, and provide a solution instant.
Right, sir.
Instead of dustbin, let us rename it as memory.
Okay.
Lot of things are getting into our memory and knowledge base. Whenever we have something in future, we know where to look forward. And India is making this happen. That is a greatest success.
Sir, thanks a lot for such an encouraging words. In fact, it has really brought lots of insights into the, what your views are about the India. What are your suggestions more, or where we can improve on certain areas, and where you think certain areas are still untouched by us?
One of the issues which can be covered in a better way is about compiling best practices.
Okay.
You bring out a nice magazine in which we can actually bring out best practices in the field. Even today, what is happening is that we are reinventing things. One state might have done that, the other state is again going through the pain of doing the same thing. Can we have a best practices list where the basic things are laid out, how it has been covered? This is one thing which can be covered in the magazine as well as in the films. And as far as the panel discussions are concerned, we can have a practice of having a panel sitting before the panel discussion starts, half an hour before, planning it appropriately and coming with a clear time frame which topic to speak on and discussing in a focused way to deliver the results. These are the two things you can really look at.
So I will take this as a feedback,
Yeah.
and really try to improve and inculcate into our next events and so. Thanks a lot, sir, for coming for India, and we really would like to interview to see you over here again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sir.